James, before we get into it, James Sahota, there's a question that everybody who's seeing this video right now wants to ask you. And that question is, how do you get your beard looking so fleeky?
My beard, man. Thank you.
I need answers, James. I need answers.
You know what? Thank you. I'm taken back by that question there. So basically, this beard is looked after every single week. I'm a regular to my barber shop. Even in COVID, I have a COVID barber. I should have
COVID barber, yeah.
I have
COVID
a COVID
compliant,
barber.
hopefully.
100%. He wears a face mask. He has a plastic thing. He's covered in all the gear. So yes, the beard is looked after and maintained weekly. It's regularly oiled and it's regularly shaped up.
I actually had to go and just line myself up quickly and like put a bit of, coconut oil on this just so I can be presentable in front of James. But yeah. So James, I know we don't have much time to talk today because, you're a busy man, you're a deal maker, you've got deals on the table, you've got money to make. But tell us a bit about yourself and, let people know what you're about and what you're into.
Yeah, no worries, Balaji. Thanks for having me, first of all, mate. So yes, my name is James Sahota. I'm now full-time into property. My property strategies include new build properties. I have a HMO strategy and kind of renovation, buy to sell, buy to flip, whatever. Whatever makes me money, I'm interested in. I don't have one particular fixed strategy, but my two main go-to strategies are building new builds in London and having a HMO strategy up in the Northeast. Prior to being in property full-time, I ran a printing company and I ran my print. It was my own business. I had it for 11 or 12 years. Very, very good business. It did really well. I earned some really good money out of it. Fortunately, or unfortunately for me, I became ill for a period of time. And my business went into voluntary liquidation. So I lost that business almost 2 years ago to the date. Quite a sad time, quite a sad thing to go through if nobody's been through it. It's massive, massive failure because you've lost it all. It's like somebody rebooting you. But I was always dabbling in property for the last 15 odd years. I was always doing something in property, whether it be a renovation or whether I have a share in a property deal or something to do with real estate and property. So once the business went into liquidation, for me, the natural progression was just to concentrate full-time on property. And that's what I'm doing now. So I pretty much live, eat, breathe property. I absorb myself into it 100%, whether that's learning about property, whether that's posting about property, or whether that's just running podcasts and duo podcasts with like you said, with a fellow host related to property.
I've got to say, you're one of the most active people, I think, on social media as far as anything property related is concerned. So I can definitely confirm that. But thanks for giving us kind of your backstory. So you touched on, I guess a failure in business, and I want to sort of develop that a little bit. But first, let me put on my virtual background because this is obviously a themed program.
And your camera, Balaji, is really good.
Yeah.
Are you using an external camera?
Yeah. I'm using a Canon M50, so the Canon mirrorless camera.
I've been thinking about. I know this is a little bit off topic, but as we're on a Zoom
call, it's all good.
I've actually been thinking about investing into an external camera that sits just above the screen. Just to get a better video because your video looks sharp.
Oh, thank you. So the thing is, you can plug it in via USB and you've got a software that can sort of use it as a webcam. But the challenge is obviously I'm looking down a lot, right? So I'm looking down at your kind of section on the screen, whereas my camera is slightly above. So I need to maybe look at how I position it a little bit better, but I don't know if it makes too much of a difference. But it's definitely worth looking into. It won't set you back that much either. But okay, so speaking of failure, because I think we'll use this sort of discussion to talk a little bit about mindset and our approach to failure. How did So, I mean, can you talk to us a little bit, if there's details that you don't want to kind of share, but like what did you go through, when your business was on a down and when you kind of, it was like a low point, right? For you.
Yeah, so kind of the thing is, when you run a business, it's all about relationships with clients, and
Yeah.
relationships with clients take a long time to form. And the kind of account spends that these guys had with us, it's not clients you get overnight. It's clients you nurture over
Mm.
time. It's clients you spend a lot of time with, getting to know, and really kind of there's a lot of, if I'm blunt, a lot of arse licking went into gaining
Yeah.
clients like that. And I ain't
Yeah.
afraid to admit it, because I hate it when people say, oh no, I'm not prepared to do this, I'm not prepared to brown nose. But I'm sorry, if you're trying to break into an industry, there's going to be some kind of brown nosing to a certain degree before you're established enough where
You
people
got your
say, you
nose
know
all
what,
brown, yeah.
that's it. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
my nose was naturally brown, but it was just a little bit more brown.
It was a bit,
so,
yeah.
so I kind of knew when I came back from being ill, I had
Mm.
disgruntled employees. My head guy was very, very disgruntled with me over various things, which when I look back now, he wasn't at fault. I was at fault. At the time,
Right.
he was 100% at fault. But when I came back from a long period of illness, we lost 3 of our biggest clients, which equated to £1 million. And when you lose £1 million worth of business overnight, it's
Yeah.
only so long you can go on with that business without replacing that income. I could
Of
see
course.
that it was going to take me a long, long time to gain and rebuild and replace that income. And what I wasn't prepared to do at that particular time in my life was risk my family's home by taking a further advance on it or a further loan, because that would have meant complete homelessness for us. No,
Yeah.
there's no going back. With 2 young children, I wasn't prepared to do it.
Right.
So
And that's an interesting. Sorry. Go on. Sorry.
no, go.
No, no. Sorry to cut you. It's just you mentioned, family, because I think there's layers to this. So if you were perhaps earlier on in your life and you didn't have any sort of responsibilities like you have now, it might have been potentially easier to deal with. But you have a lot of responsibility. You've got a lot riding on your shoulders. You've got family, wife, kids, and a house of your own. You have your own kingdom to manage, and then you've got this going on, which is really kind of like chaos and disaster and destruction. Like how did that affect your, I don't know, your mental state?
I mean, don't get me wrong, Balaji. I'm one of those people that I would risk it for the ultimate deal. If it meant putting everything on the line, I would do that.
Okay.
Even to this day, I would risk everything. Anybody who knows me closely knows that James is I'm a serious risk taker. I like to live on the
Okay.
edge, on the knife edge. So I'm not afraid of falling, because I know what can happen on the other
Can
side of
happen.
failure, if
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So
So it's like you're not playing not to win. You're not playing not to lose. You're playing always to win.
I'm always in it to win. I am always in it to
Yeah.
win. And if the risk was calculated enough for me, now my risk fear or my risk barrier might be a lot higher than people, because I would, if somebody said to me, or I calculated a deal and it meant I had to put all my assets on the line, and there was a 60% chance or a 50% chance that this deal was going to go right, those odds are good enough for me.
Right.
Now
Right.
for some
Right.
people, you might be sitting there thinking, damn, this guy's crazy, man. He would risk it. That's pretty much 50-50. It's a yes or a no. But for me, those odds are good enough, because I always think to myself now, what is on the other side of fear? Because you keep
Mm.
saying people are very, very, I mean, I did a post on fear yesterday, and people are very
Yeah. So that.
quick to kind of, what happens is with fear, you build up these expectations in your mind, and it's like, oh, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if? And if you let your mind believe all these damn what ifs, you're going to get yourself into such a downward spiral that before you know it, your mind is actually believing something that hasn't occurred. So to give you
Yeah.
an example, you may be buying your first property, or you may be doing a property deal with someone. And yes, there's risks with anything. And you might be there thinking, you know what if this doesn't go right? What if this doesn't go right? What if this doesn't go right? Before you know it, if you tell your mind that enough, before you know it, you're going to get to a point where you're not going to do that deal no more, because your mind has told you straight away, no,
Yeah.
Balaj, you need to keep away from this shit, man, because this could be
Yeah.
serious if it goes wrong. But what if you flipped it up, and what if you said to yourself, hey, Balaji, what if this goes right, man? What if this
Right.
refurb comes in on cost? What if this happens? See, automatically you're smiling. You see, because you've got a positive uplift. You've just automatically
Yeah.
lifted
The
your
energy is
mind.
contagious. Yeah. Mm.
Exactly. So, you know, I always say to people, the example I give about mindset is it's like, if you look at a boxer, now a boxer training for a fight, he's going to be skipping, he's going to be shadow boxing, his diet's going to be on point, he's going to be running,
Yeah.
he's going to be lifting weights, he's feeding his body with the right stuff. And I think you need to feed your body with the right things, and as well as feeding your mind with the right stuff. So it's all about
Right.
huge amounts of positivity, you know. Even when
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you're having a shit day, you need to
Mm.
stand up. Everybody has a shit day, you know. You might not think it, but I have a shit day as well, you know. I have shit days, and I
We
have
all
to
do.
stand
We all do. Yeah.
100%. You have to stand there.
What do you
You
do? Flush it down the toilet, wipe your
you know,
bum, and go
that's
again,
it,
right?
mate. That's it, mate. What can you do? Or you kind of look at yourself in the mirror and you think, I'm in control of me. Ain't nobody
Yeah.
in control of me. And I'm constantly at a battle with my mind, because I tell my mind,
Yeah.
I say, hey, yes, you control my body, but I can control you. I can tell you what
Yeah.
you need to know. I can tell you
Yeah.
what you need to hear, what you need to
Yeah.
feel. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's not come easy, Balaji. It's not come easy to
I can
control your
imagine.
mind. It's a skill. It's a skill that you develop. And I say to
Yeah.
people, one of the things that's helped me massively is meditation. Now,
Right.
meditation allows you to, it's an art of controlling your mind. That's what meditation is. It teaches you how to be in a certain state, how to react when certain emotions come about. So for me
Mm.
now, I would say to anybody listening, one of the biggest things you want to do before you even go into business is learn how to control your mental state and control your mind. Because if you can't control that, you're pretty fucked. Simple as.
Mm. Yeah. 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 No, I agree. I think I practice meditation and affirmations, and I think sort of self-talk, because like I agree with you, thoughts, feelings, can be like not necessarily controlled, right? So is my connection? Can you hear me?
Yeah, your connection's a little bit funny.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, all good.
Okay, sorry, I'm using my mobile hotspot, but yeah, I do believe that you can you can be aware of emotions that are happening, but that's a state, and you can kind of step outside of that state and observe why you're feeling that way, but you can take control, But I think it's something that needs to be practiced. I kind of see the brain. I'm into IT, right? So I see the brain as almost like any other type of machine. It can be programmed, but it takes time and configuration and repetition to kind of get to where it needs to get to. Or in another kind of sense, like a muscle, you got to train it,
Yes,
And if you don't train any muscle, it's weak.
I agree with you 100%, man. 100%. And for me, alongside meditation, um, I believe in God. I have
Yeah,
a faith. I'm a God-fearing person, and I think when you fear God, it really helps you to align the way you are as a person. Your ethics, your core values are different from somebody who doesn't believe in a religion. Because I think, for me, there's always someone higher above watching down on
yeah,
me, who I'm accountable to, who I'm answerable to. So knowing that that's hanging over me,
yeah.
it's weird in the way my day will work.
So that's very interesting that you say that, because I'm a similar person. So I do believe in God. I mean, I'm a Christian,
Hmm.
and my view is there are things that I believe God says about me. So like um, people might say something about you, and you could take that as a validation in a negative sort of way. Whereas I know that as far as God is concerned, and what I read in the Bible is I'm a prince, I'm a royal priesthood, and I'm a child of God, right? So these things, when you kind of have that sense of belonging and identity, anything that kind of happens in my day or in my life that could cause me to feel a certain way, I can always kind of think back to, okay, who am I? Like, what's my identity? Who does God say I am? But I wasn't planning to kind of go down that tangent, but you brought it up. So yeah, that's really really cool.
Just
Yeah,
to add to that point, Balaji, people talk about their power team, and you must have a power
yeah,
team, you must have this. I turn around to people and I say, listen, man, I got the biggest G on my power team, man. I got the biggest
Right.
Don on my power team because I got someone I can talk to every morning. I got someone I can talk to every evening. In fact, I can talk to him whenever. And that's the good Lord. I don't diss people that don't have a faith. But for me, I don't understand it. I don't understand how you can not be going through your life knowing that there's a higher being or there's a power there that's controlling shit.
Oh wow, you're preaching now. You're preaching now. So
Just
it's interesting though.
call me TD Jakes, baby. Call me TD
TD
Jakes.
Jakes, yeah. TD Jakes, TD James Sahota. That's the new one. But funnily enough, you know, you look at successful people and people who are doing well, or people who are achieving things, and you always think there's something about that person, and you know, I instantly know why you are where you are and why you're doing well. So that is so good to know. You know, I think that's a great message. I guess we've only got a few minutes left. So you talked about boxing before, right? You use it as an analogy. So completely random question: is Mike Tyson going to make a comeback, and is he going to win?
Man, that guy, he was. I remember watching him grow up when I was growing up, watching
Yeah.
boxing. I've been watching boxing from a very, very early age. It's one of those sports that I love. I love to watch it. I participate in boxing. I'm not very good at it, but you know, I can take a punch to the face, which
I
I'm
could
quite
I could
proud of.
see you in the ring. You know you got some weight
I've,
about you. You can.
I've been in the ring a few times, and you know, I've taken a beating, and I keep going
Yeah.
back. In answer to your
Yeah.
question, I think Mike Tyson is, in my eyes, one of the greatest boxers ever to live. You look back at
Right.
his life, you look back at how disciplined this guy was. Okay, he's had a period of shakiness in his life, like most people do.
Mm,
But you look at Mike
mm,
Tyson in his prime, and it all goes back to that guy knows how to control his mind. That the
right.
mindset that guy had when he was training, there was just one thing in his mind, and that was, I'm going to be a world champion, and I don't give a shit what gets in my way, and I'm going to do it. You know. In answer to your question, can he make a comeback? I reckon, hell yes, he can make a comeback. They don't make boxers like they used to make
Like
Tyson,
that
and
anymore? No.
no,
No.
no.
No. All right. Simple one word answer because we're going into the next section. You've got like 2 3 minutes. In their prime, who wins? Anthony Joshua or Mike Tyson?
Mike Tyson. I don't even have to think
Okay.
about that.
Okay. There we go. All right. So we might as well talk about something more property related in our last few minutes. So right now we're in a COVID lockdown and there's a lot of talk about what to do, what not to do. Should we pack up shop? Should we take a break? Should we do something else? Should I start an online business? What's your advice and like what are you actually doing, you know, in this COVID period as your either strategy workaround or whatever?
I think number one, you should not stop doing. Don't stop, because I've seen a lot of people think, you know what, oh, there's not much going on, I'll just chill, you know,
Yeah.
I'll go do my garden, I'll decorate my house. Yeah, they're all good things to do, but I would say to you, do not take your foot off the gas, because if you take your foot off the gas, when this shit is over, you're going to be further behind than everybody else is. You know, we're already quite behind, but you don't want to be
Yeah.
further behind. And number two, use this time, man. Use this time to get yourself educated. So many people are offering information out there. So many people are happy to connect. So many people are happy to have a Zoom call. Use them to
Yeah.
get as much information as you can. Grow your social brand, you know, grow your social presence. It's a good time to grow your social presence, you know, get yourself out there, talk about stuff that you do. I've used this time to grow my social presence because it's something that I've wanted to
Definitely.
do a lot, all the time.
Yeah.
In terms of online business, I have a lot of experience with online business because I was one of the first people to, in the print game, really revolutionize the way you sell online. So I have
Yeah.
thought a lot about this, Balaji. There's been a lot of thoughts crossing my mind where I thought, you know what? I still have a lot of connections in print. Should I start an online business selling COVID-ready products? And then I do a little
Yeah.
bit of research and I see a lot of people on that. And I have to tell myself, hey, James, just stop. That was an old part of your life. You're not in that life
Yeah.
anymore. As much as I think,
Okay.
yes, I could get this store running, I could convert this, I could make X amount of money, and yes, it would be very nice at a time like this, but I have to
Yeah.
tell myself, no, focus on one thing, you know. And someone who's very, very good at reining me in is my wife. Very, very good at
Right.
reining me in. Just the other day, we
Yeah.
had
Mine too as well. Yeah. Yeah.
we had a
Wives are
beautiful
good like that. Yeah.
100%, man. We had a beautiful conversation in the morning over a coffee. In fact, I started my day about an hour and a half late because we were talking, and she said to me, she goes, "Look, as an outsider looking in on what you're doing, you got a lot going on. You really need to focus your social strategy on a particular area or a particular avenue, because I can see you're taking on too much, and when James takes on too much, something's going to break somewhere along the line." So
Yeah.
I'm very aware that I've got someone like that I can refer to. You know, as much as I hate turning to her and saying, "Hey, babe, I need a little bit of advice," because I know she is not going to massage my ego. I know she's not going to say it to me nicely. My wife is just going to say to me,
Tell
"Hey,"
it like it is.
yeah, she's going to say to me, "You've been a dick. You've done this. You need to sort this shit out." And she is as raw as me when it comes to having a conversation. So
Yeah.
COVID is a great COVID is a great time, I feel, Balaji. You know what? People need to don't waste this time, man. You're never going to get this opportunity again. I don't think, unless we have COVID-19, and God forbid, let's not talk about COVID-20
Let's
even.
not.
Yeah.
Please, no. Yeah, exactly.
But use this time wisely. Get yourself educated. Do something. Do not waste it, man. You know, have a day binging on Netflix, eating pizza, and doing all that. But there's still 6 days in the week out of the 7 to really smash it out of the park. So that would be.
You got to come out with something, right? You got to come out with something, whatever it is. Even if you've learned something new, maybe you've started something new and developed something new, or you've maybe got to know yourself a little bit better. There's got to be something that you focus on.
And just lastly, don't be like my mates. I said, "What are you going to come out of COVID with?" And he goes, "I'm coming out of COVID with a big belly."
That's impossible for you. I see you doing your 10Ks almost every day.
Oh yeah, so, I do. I get them runs in, but I don't have no 6-pack here, Balaji. You know, I'm an older man. I'm just trying to keep the clock ticking.
I know the same. I think we're the same age, to be honest. So I know the struggle. All right, 2 more questions before we go. Very quickly, what are you listening to in Spotify right now?
Very good question, man. I was actually going to do a post on this. I'm listening to Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent's new audio, and it is mind-blowing, man. I've always known Curtis Jackson, or 50, is a hustler. The biggest hustler.
I like the way that you're on speaking terms with him. I like the way you're on like first name.
Me and
that's the level of James Sahota right there.
Do you know what? It's my ultimate dream to catch that guy one day and just get him on. The next time I'm telling you he's in the UK, I'm going to hound him. I'm going to find him.
Yeah.
Through the circles, but he's it's a mind-blowing book. It's 9 hours of audio. I'm about an hour and a half in, and I tell you what, when I've got that on in my ears when I'm running in the morning, I don't want to stop running, because if you want to listen to a good book, and it's narrated by 50 himself, so it's out of this world. It had me hooked within the first 30 seconds.
I'll definitely check that out. All right, listen, last question. You've been a trooper. Really good to have you on, James. I really appreciate it. Where can people find you? What are your socials? If anybody wants to find out a little bit more, let us know.
Balaji, as you can probably tell from this podcast, I love to have a chat. I love to talk. In fact, every time I have a chat with someone, my throat feels a bit dry because I need to lubricate that up. So I'm always available if somebody wants to hit me up. If I don't have time, I'll make some time for you for a conversation. You can catch me on Instagram, where most people do. I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, but yeah, probably Instagram. Hit me up on Instagram and I'll share my email details with you. I'm happy to have a conversation with you on anything.
Awesome. And I was also just kind of wanting to plug your podcast, which is really cool, like really good podcast, very good tips on, property. I've been listening to quite a few of them and I've been really inspired and educated. What is your podcast and where can we find it?
Oh, thank you very much, Balaji. I'm glad you're enjoying it, mate.
Really do, honestly.
My podcast is called the J2 Hub podcast. That's the letter J, the number 2, and Hub, H-U-B podcast. Or you can go onto any major podcast platform and just type my name in, James Sahota, and I'll come up. I've got a huge amount of podcasts coming up. If I told you I have nearly 16 hours of podcasts recorded that need to go live, I'm actually quite overwhelmed at how much I've got, and I'm still recording, and I've got some real inspirational stuff landing over the next couple of weeks. So yeah, all I ask is, guys, if you listen to the podcast, just leave me a review. And that's it, because it helps with the rankings. It helps that
Yeah.
podcast get found. I don't do no adverts on my podcast. I've got no intention of doing adverts or anything like that. It's literally just to educate, inform, help, and uplift.
Brilliant. I still need to leave my review, so I'm going to try and do that as soon as possible. And yeah, James, listen, it's been a pleasure having you on. It's been a great conversation. Thanks a lot. All the best with your endeavors, and I'm sure we'll speak soon.
Thank you very much, Balaji. Thank you.
Take care.